Greetings. So we're going to compare this, the Kamov Ka-52, and this, the Mi-28. There's quite a bit of difference in capabilities with the various Mi-28s. So that's a different aircraft, but this guy pretty much designed the Ka-52. And the reason I bring that up is that this book, a lot of interviews with Sergei Mikheyev in it. So, and this is a recent book, as you can see there. So, it was published in 2017. There's the man, there's Sergei Mikheyev, and that's his new project, an intentional leak. So the first thing in comparing these two, so the pros and cons. So a side-by-side cockpit, what benefit does that give you? Well, I suppose it's communication. And then I'll go on to the benefit of the Mi-28 later on. Got better communication. Maybe it's better morale as well. We can look at each other. Now, because of the coax layout, there's 4 advantages, and then one you might not have thought about before. I mean, I just thought about it today. So the Ka-52 is more agile, faster, higher ceiling. There's no vulnerable tail rotor. And then here's an interesting one that I just thought about. With the crew ejection system, the blades get blown off first before they escape. Because I wondered what would happen if a similar thing was attempted on the Mi-28, if it was fitted with the crew ejection system. So blow the main rotors off, but then you still got the tail rotor. So you've got to blow the tail rotor off as well. So you have that problem with torque. And then also you still got an engine going round and it's still going to have torque. So that could be a problem. So maybe only a coaxial helicopter can have that kind of ejection system. And it is the world's first helicopter with an ejection system. Now, this is something which Sergei Mikheyev said in that book I just showed you. This book. He said that with the side-by-side layout, that you can use less armor for the same level of protection. Because it's like, I mean, from the front. And also, something that you have to do is, from the front, you have to have an armored plate between the front seater and the back seater. And any kind of shot on a helicopter from the side is going to be a bit of a fluke, more so than the front. And also, they recently added these little bits of the side. So again, it's probably working on angles where they put these armored blocks in here. Let's see that I'm, yes, I am sharing screen. Right, that would have been embarrassing, wasn't it? I'm just talking to myself there. You've got these armor. So most of these shots are not going to come, are going to be coming from a lower level, and so, and I think the helmets are armored anyway. So that's his rationale for it. Or what you could say, well, we could use the same amount of armor as the Mi-28 and get more protection. That's what he would say. So he certainly thinks out of the box, for Sergei Mikheyev. So this is a big one, though. This is a big one, and probably the biggest advantage, I would say, when it comes to fighting tanks. That is this. It has the Vicar, or Vicar, whereas the Mi-28 has the Attacker. The Attacker has a 6-kilometer range, and the Vicar has a 10-kilometer range. So we might as well go through. Right, so these are the, well, you can see what this is. This is from the, right, so Vika, I mean, this is an unconventional loadout, but Igla air-to-air missile attacker. They just sort of use these to the ground target. I think they maybe use these because they're cheaper than these. I'll talk about the cannon in a moment. It's actually a clever idea. Right, Igla. Airborne target. Attacker, guided anti-tank missile, but it's not as good as... right, it's just put here, used to fire at ground targets. Now, these aren't biased. Well, what I mean is they're not biased in favor of one against the other because they've done a video on the Mi-28 as well, and the Mi-28 UB. Right, guided anti-tank missile. So let's have a look at the size of this thing. Right. Right, and so yeah, they actually said the most powerful armaments. This gives you an idea of the loadout. It's actually the same gun as on the Mi-28. So here you can see the difference in the size of the missile between the Vickers and the attacker. And the attacker's heavier than the Cornet. So yeah, you've also got 6 pylons rather than 4. I don't know what that really gives you because you can have these launchers on where you can, like, there's 6 missiles there on that one pylon, so it's not really that much of an advantage, I suppose, unless you're going to put light weapons on there. So, greater weapons load. Don't know what the exact is, but it's a greater weapons load. You'd expect that because you're not losing 20% of your engine power on a tail rotor. No vulnerable tail rotor either. There's a footage of a Mi-28 where the tail rotor fails and it spins round and crashes. And then the pilot gets out, wanders around, goes, "Oh, what's happening?" And he walks up to it, and then he realizes, "Oh, I better scarp it." And then the helicopter blows up a little. Well, it goes in the fire, it doesn't really blow up. Yes, it has more cannon ammo, the Ka-52. Now, we'll come on to the advantages of the Mi-28 later. Now then, there were lots of tests in the 1980s, and that was just the Ka-50. The Ka-50 beat the Mi-28. It had a better weapons system. The cannon was more accurate. Why was the cannon more accurate? Well, because it's nearer the center of gravity. And because the aircraft is so accurate, any sort of big adjustments can be made by turning the whole aircraft. Now then, what does that do? I mean, would you really want to be firing so far off to the side, exposing a larger target that's less heavily armored, whereas you want to be pointing more head on, don't you? There's a smaller target that's more heavily armored at the front. Also, for your fine adjustments, this can move. You see there, it can move up and down, and it also move about 5 degrees out and a little bit in, but enough for the fine tuning. So when the recoil does not move it. It moves it on when it's a chin mount. I mean, subsequent shots make it go off target. This is why they have these really complicated machine guns with a balanced one. If you see Vickers on that. So this is a neat. See how big there the Vickers is. What did I want to show? Is that the loading thing? Yes, they have this special thing for. This is the only thing the ground crew are mad about. It has a special winch in it, to where you can. So that winch is down, and then so it makes loading easy. You see, there's a little winch on the built into the pylon. Right then, here we go. So this has been mentioned quite a bit. I actually showed those, didn't I, over there? But this is what I'm going to get onto now, and that is the radar. So when they asked McKeeve about this, well, you can fit a bigger radar in the nose, and he said that location there had less vibration in the mast position. So then, and then you've got the they tried that above. Some of them were located up here above the I suppose just in front of the engine intakes, in between the two, so you can get a bigger radar in there, but you don't get the 360-degree field of view, which is what you get with the Mi-28. Right then, so what are the advantages of the Mi-28? And there are some. This is just some these vary, these stats, and also all of these things with range and speed and that sort of thing. What is the weapons load? How much fuel are they carrying? The more fuel they carry, they're not going to be able to go as quick. So, oh, that isn't even the Ka-52. Look there. That looks like the Ka-50. Also, if you see there, it's got 2 pylons rather than 3. So yeah, so that's the Ka-50 by mistake. That's going to be hard to see. This is the kind of stuff that's not interesting. You can find this elsewhere. I'll give you the inside deal. Mi-28, because it's the Russian letter. Gets transliterated to. What do we got? So tandem cockpits. What is the benefit of tandem cockpits? So you don't have a better communication, but you do have better human eye view, side to side. So if you've got a helmet mounted sight, maybe that is an advantage. Although you can say with the Ka-52 that they're using that turret underneath. So then, I think Ka-52 is probably designed as a longer range engage destroyer of tanks with that Vika missile. I would say the better side window protection. Yeah, what have we got here? It is slightly cheaper. I think it's 1 or 2 million cheaper. There's the attacker missiles. What have we got here? Yes, and if it does crash land, it does have this sort of shock absorbing struts on the where can I show you the struts? The shock absorbers. You can see here it goes in there. You've got shock absorbers, and also the seats collapse as well. So I have seen one collapse, drop out of the sky, and the you can see it when the tail rows faded, but you know there's going to be a limit to the descent velocity on that. But again, in the Ka-52, they go in, and they probably thought there's not enough time to lower it if there's a problem. So although there will be a slight drag penalty. What else do we have here? Yes, now this is a little feature that not many people, it's hard to find images of this on the internet, and that is the secret compartment that it has. So yeah, this is the new trainer, but it's also combat capable. So new radar, as you see there. And yes, and this is actually the imaging of the radar, and it can actually pick up. So this documentary was on Zvezda, and it got apparently slightly cut down, some English narration and subtitles, and put on RT documentaries. There's your cockpit. That looks probably going to be the pilot there. You've got the flight instrumentation. Now then, I will show you the capsule. And now you probably, so how do they get out of it? So there's a special way for them to ditch out of the aircraft. And so what happens is they pull this thing, and then this thing, sort of, a few charges go off, and this extends here, and extends, and then you're supposed to slide down there with your parachute on. And there's the parachute system. Electric or again, energy absorbing struts and seats. The seats collapse down. So there's your loadout. This is from an official Ross Vertol Vertolek Russian helicopters video. It's a little bit old, I suppose. We've seen that one. So the secret compartment, or the underreported compartment. There's some interesting camera direction in this. So it starts there. In theory, there's room to transport wounded, so really it's just avionics bay, but you can get people in there. But, oh, there we go. There is proof that it is there. It is this little thing. And again, if you were to fire it like that, you're exposing your flank, and what do you think the recoil is going to do to the helicopter? There's some details from that video. I won't say what you can see. What else have we got here? Other advantages. This is just basic, boring comparison stuff that you can find elsewhere. I'll show you my summary. What have we got here? 3 people in the rear. So you've got the advantage there that if you're having a mixed fleet and you have a downed crew, well, you can't bring them back on the Ka-52. Maybe if you're doing combined arms and you're sending in a Hind as well, you can pick it up. So yeah, the advantage there with the mass-mounted radar is you have got 360-degree coverage and ground targets moving at 10 kilometers on, because it's pulse Doppler. So whatever, because otherwise it would be lost in the background clutter. Yeah, the radar does have 360-degree coverage, and I suppose that's still a big thing there. Easier to sell because conventional. Avionics. Yes, the avionics used to not be as good as on the Ka-52, but now you're probably at the Mi-28 NM, probably on a par, but it still does not have the Vickers missile that can burn through a meter of rolled homogeneous armor. The question is, though, it's all about top attack weapons these days. Right then. And I will... Yeah, so it lost twice, but that was the bog standard Mi-28. And that was to the Ka-50. Because they worked a lot on the weapons system. Kamov had a slight advantage in that because they had all of their experience from advanced auto hover features on their Helix and Hormone helicopters. So, and then I think they had, and they might have a little bit of an advantage with the, and their weapon system was better. So even though I only had 1 pilot, it won twice in the trials, and they did the trial a second time because Mil Helicopters, Mil Design Bureau was so had so much political sway that, you know, there you go. I mean, one time, in terms of the politics of things, what happened with the Tupolev Tu-160, the Sukhoi design actually won. It was more of a flying wing. Then it was the, I think it's Mi-28. That design was sort of given to Tupolev, and Tupolev based their Tu-160 on the Mi-28 entry. So a lot of times those design, and also Kazan, I think that's where they make the Tupolev. The workers there said that I only wanted to build a Tupolev bomber. So I've digressed, but I've given some extra information there. All right, then I will stop this event. All right, there we go. There's my comparison. Last time I checked, it couldn't be found elsewhere on YouTube. And again, That is a good book. Gator on the Rise. Kamov's Hokum attack helicopter story, 1977 to 2015.